There's this one creator on TikTok that I've seen many times, and she is one of the people that inspired this video, because I see over and over again, video after video of her doing these massive, like massive designer hauls of Rolex and Cartier and Chanel and Louis Vuitton and Hermes. The confusing part to me is that in these hauls, in these unboxings, she appears to be in a room of some kind that looks like it has no furniture or very little furniture. That, or she's either in a bedroom, what appears to be her bedroom, I don't really know. But the bedroom is a nice bedroom, but it looks like a basic bedroom that you and I might have. She's also, or she's in a backyard, and maybe it's a nice backyard, but it just looks like a regular backyard. To me, the setting in which she's filming these hauls does not coincide with the amount of money that she's spending on them. It feels to me, this is my interpretation, that she is playing into a character, and if I had to guess, I would say she might be going into debt playing this character. I want to be clear, I have no idea. I could be way off base. She could come from money, she could have a lot of money, she could marry him. I have no idea what her financial situation is. This is just my interpretation of her content. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I am going to insert some clips right now just so you can get a feel. I might speed it up a little bit just so you can get a feel of what her content looks like and the amount of money that she is actually spending on these designer items.
Here's what $40,000 at Cartier can get you. You guys bullied me into spending $71,000 on a watch. I posted my $115,000 Rolex collection last week. I think a lot of people were upset that I only have Datejust, and you guys bullied me into buying a $71,000 watch. I did some shopping. I'm ready. I'm just gonna rapid fire.
I thought before we continue that, when she said she's spending a lot of money, I thought she's talking a couple hundred, couple thousand, 71,000, 40,000. Oh my goodness. But at the end of the day, look, if you at this point don't realize that most stuff out there online is fake, then the joke's on you. Just that's very simple. So the woman in the video, she's talking about, look, she doesn't know her current situation. Who knows her current situation? She may be some rich woman, some rich lady, like her parents are super rich, whatever, and she can just do this, and she's creating this content which she's making money from, no doubt, right? Best believe, I would assume that her videos are most likely getting millions and millions and millions of views, and she's probably making money on brand deals and all this different kind of stuff, right? Yeah, that's what I think is most likely the scenario. She's making a lot of money through the content she's making, and she's reinvesting it into making more content. But the problem is, most people who are watching her probably don't know that, because they don't have like the business background that I have. They don't understand marketing like I do and all this different kind of stuff. So they just think, oh, she's just there showcasing all of this stuff and she's just doing it for the fun of it. No, she's most likely making a lot of money from this. This is probably why she can spend money on 40,000 and 70,000 and all this different kind of stuff, right? Now, again, I don't know her. I could be wrong, but that's like, let's just say that's the ideal scenario. That's what's happening here. She's making a lot of money. She's creating this content, and that's why she's able to spend this money. Now, could she be in a situation where she's spending money that her parents are giving her? Okay, potentially. If her parents are making so much like money that it really doesn't matter, then it would explain why she's doing this stuff. Now, another scenario is, like the woman said, she's getting into debt. She's getting into debt, loads of debt, and she's not making any money. That would be foolish. If it's a scenario, for example, where she's buying all of this stuff and it's fake and doing all of this stuff, presenting it as if it's real, well, that's disingenuous, but at least she's not foolishly wasting loads of money. So it's not the worst of the worst. Yes, she's being deceptive and all that kind of stuff. But again, go back to what I said earlier on. If you are at a point in time, and it gets like, if you're younger, then okay, it's different. But if the older you are, if you are not at a point where you don't realize that most of the stuff online is fake, then the joke is on you. I just have to say it like that. So when I look at what's happening so far, we can continue in the video and see where this is gonna go. But 40,000, 70,000, obviously that's not a joke. But again, you have to be mindful.
I'll show you guys what I got. Went to Gucci, Hermes, Chanel, Golden Goose, Dior, Neiman's. I think that's it. I have a little haul. I did a little bit of shopping, so let me show you what I got. I'm gonna try to quickly just show you everything. So first up, Rolex, a $1,200 pin. Next up, Chanel. This was the whole entire reason I went shopping. So I've been really wanting a pool bag. So what is this? You guessed it. It also has a chain here, so you can chain up the sides. It completely changes the shape of the bag. Okay, next, Celine. Ooh, I forgot I got these. I got 2 claw clips. This one, which is so cute. Another claw clip, and the 2 of these were $1,300.
Like I said, I don't know if she actually has the money to afford these things. What I do know is that all of these purchases, all of these hauls, are there to make it look like she is rich. That is how she wants to present. But all of the purchases, the pile of designer bags, the jewelry collection, only proves that she spent that much money. It does not prove that she can actually afford.
It doesn't even prove she spent the money, because as she kept going through the different videos, a couple other things I thought about. Well, number one, another thing, right, which could be going on. She could work for these companies, and they are basically using her as like an advertisement, an advert. Like, look, we'll send you this stuff, you promote it, blah, 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 etc. That's another scenario. Another scenario is the fact, guys, it could be AI. This literally could be AI, an AI avatar created to promote this sort of stuff for whatever different reasons. So there's multiple different reasons why. It doesn't even prove that she has the money to spend on this stuff. But let's keep going.
Afford those purchases. And she's not the only one doing it. There are so many case studies now that we have that we can look back on of people who are presenting as being wealthy, as being really rich, but behind the scenes are actually flat broke. But in the moment, we don't really know what's real and what's not real. So today we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of us intuitively know, that being rich and looking rich are not the same thing, and what trying to look rich actually does to the people chasing it. What we should do is spend less time and money trying to look rich and more time trying to be rich. And one of the ways that we can do this is through budgeting.
That's true, but just think about this question. Would you rather look rich or be rich? Hopefully you said you'd rather be rich if you're watching my content. But again, take the steps in order to be rich and not necessarily look rich. If you want to be rich, that likely means you have to stop doing the things that most people do to look rich. And if you want to look rich, you will likely have to stop doing the things the people that are going to be rich are doing. You can't have both. It doesn't really work like that.
I've always said that budgeting is super personal for everyone. There's no single method that works for every single person, but the most important thing is that you
The God method does, just for the record, but let's keep going.
find a budgeting method that works for you. Because no matter what, the one thing that holds true is that you cannot fix a spending problem if you can't see it. And the only way to see it is if you start tracking it, which is exactly what today's sponsor, Rocket Money, helps you do. Rocket Money easily connects your accounts and then tracks all of your spending in one place. It categorizes every single month. So let's just say you're overspending in a category like for a minute, okay? Because I just need to spend for G or actually spending on /DB and fake money. And it
So kudos to definitely budget, like it's financial discipline. Again, remember what I said before about being wealthy and doing the stuff to be rich in comparison to doing the stuff that look rich. People that look rich rarely budget. They don't have that financial discipline. So in our household, we have a family budget. We document all the money that we spend. Why? Because I have realized that it's one of the steps that you need to take in order to be wealthier. If God is going to bless you with more money, have you been faithful with the money that you have right now? If the answer is no, don't expect any more from the Lord. If the answer is yes, prepare yourself. Continue to prepare yourself because you're already prepared. But continue to prepare yourself and more is going to come. Trust me.
usually, all of the tips are usually the same. It usually goes something like fake money is a lot of branding, heavy on the logos, very loud. Real wealth is fitted clothes, no logos, very understated. Most of the people are quiet and unassuming.
What's the biggest difference between people that are rich and just look rich? One, do you see any logos? If someone's wearing like head to toe designer clothes, you're not. But people that are actually rich, everything's well fitted. Two, it's how they speak. Most successful people have built the business, so they're gonna be respectful.
Someone is definitely
And obviously just bear that in mind. Like, another way you can look at this is people that are trying to look rich, they're not completely happy with their current situation. So this is why they gravitate towards the designer name brands, all that kind of stuff, because they feel like it gives them validation. Obviously there are anomalies. So there are people that are super wealthy that wear all of the designer clothes and all that kind of stuff, but they don't need to, is the point. And this is why wealthy people, they don't need to dress a certain way to get attention or to feel like, oh, I'm valuable. They may wear valuable stuff, but they don't need it to be a sign, a banner to say I'm wealthy. They have the wealth, so they don't feel the need to boast or brag, etc.
They secretly broke if they...
Usually it's when I see someone wearing like head-to-toe designer clothes. The first thing through my mind is they're broke.
I think a lot of us believe now, especially with the oversaturation of designer items on social media, that the loudest spender in a room is not necessarily the richest one. But this can also turn into a belief in a mindset that anybody wearing a lot of logos is faking it, and anybody in a beige coat that is understated has a legitimate trust fund.
That's why you have to look at the track record. I always say time is always going to be the best revealer. So don't just listen to what someone says one day. Listen to what they say regularly, and then you're going to start to get a baseline of what the person thinks, how they move, what they believe, and just how they move. So just think about it from that perspective. Don't just make a instant rash decision all the time. But that's what so many people make. So, oh, they're wearing this, they're wearing that. And the problem is, because they want those things, they get gravitated towards it instead of thinking, okay, wait, hold on. Is this person for real? Or is this person fake?
And I don't think either of them are entirely true. We decided a few years ago that the quiet luxury look means rich. But we also learned not too long after that you can buy the quiet luxury look at any price point. And there are creators online teaching people how to dress, act, and carry themselves to read old money, even though they are not old money.
What's the difference between looking rich and being rich?
Looking rich is like when you're, just wearing a ton of designer logos and you want to stunt and make people think that you have this illusion of wealth. And there's actually, Louis, influencers who, the New York Times just did an article on all these influencers who teach you how to look rich. So they tell you to wear, neutral colors and, to dine a certain way.
Now, I'm going to be real. I don't see an issue with this at all. The only issue I could see potentially is if you are trying to deceive people into thinking you're wealthy. But this is one of the things you hear me say over and over again. I'm going to continue to say it. If you want to be wealthy, you need to copy what wealthy people do, what they believe, what they think, what they say, and even more so, importantly, what they do. Part of what they do is how they dress. So you see how we were talking before about, look, people that look wealthy, try to look wealthy, they dress loudly, basically. They need to broadcast from what they're wearing. Oh, I'm wealthy, because they can't verbalize and say I'm wealthy. Whereas you don't want to act like that if you want to be wealthy. So if you want to act wealthy, you're going to have to act wealthy, obviously, to become wealthy. You need to take the wise, wealthy steps. So dress the way they dress from your own vantage point, obviously. I'm not saying they may, I'll put it like this, right? A wealthy person may be wearing a casual black top. And that might be a casual black top which costs $50 or $100. You may not be able to afford a casual black top for $100, but it's not necessarily about the particular item. It's about the mindset, the philosophy behind it. They're dressing in a way which means I don't need to broadcast my wealth. I'm not trying to be the center of attention. Okay, so how do you do that from your vantage point? Well, it's not going to buy $100 t-shirt. It's maybe you buy a $5 t-shirt or a $2 t-shirt, because you've got the message, the mindset that it's not the clothes that I wear that determine how valuable I am. God does that, and he gave us the fingerprints to prove it. We are one of a kind, right? It's getting validation from things which actually matter, not from the clothes we wear or the gadgets that we have.
We know that we can buy the old money, quiet luxury look at any price point. If we know that logo or no logo, understated or loud, does not actually tell us if you are rich or not rich. It does not tell us what's in your bank account. It only tells us what that person wants us to think about them, how they want to portray themselves to us. Then it raises the question, why do we keep chasing it? I think a lot of the time that we buy these things is because it allows us to pretend to be somebody that we want to be. And so
yeah, to a certain degree, but it's about, I said it before and she just said it, it's because we want it. But this is the thing, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things. The only difference is someone who's super wealthy doesn't really need to wait to acquire those things. But when you're not super wealthy, you have to, the wise thing to do is to be disciplined. So I'll give you an example, right? It was my wife and I and another married couple, right? And maybe there were some other people, and we were talking about something. We was talking about a washing machine, right? Our washing machine recently stopped working. And my wife wanted a particular washing machine. And I said, I was saying, look, the thing is, if she wants that specific washing machine, then it's not that we can't purchase it, but it's going to take the time it's going to take in order to purchase it. And I put money away. And when the money got to a certain amount, which was how much the washing machine cost, I purchased the washing machine outright. I didn't do installments or anything along those lines. I said, okay, cool. That's teaching a principle, right, that I want to continue to multiply in my household. There's nothing wrong with wanting good stuff. But if you want the good stuff, you need to be willing to put the work in. You need to dedicate yourself for however long it's going to take in order to get it. What most people do, which is foolish, is they watch content like this and they see all this bright and shiny stuff and they say, I want it. And again, it's not wanting it isn't the issue. It's the fact that you go and leverage your future for these material items. When the best thing you could actually do is say, okay, cool, I'm going to make an informed decision. But when it actually comes to purchasing it, if it's out of my budget, then I'm going to allocate money to it. And then when it's the right time, I will purchase it, but not on interest. That's the difference. So if anything happens from that point on, you already know you've got all of that discipline earned. I wanted something. And this is what I want you to really realize. This principle works in every area of life. You take time to devote yourself to something because you know by doing the wise thing today and tomorrow, there will come a point in time where you can still have that great thing and you have it in the right way. This is the discipline. This is what we call wealthy discipline. And this is what we want because that is what's going to get you more and more of the things you actually want for longer periods of time. Guys, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, don't forget to react righteously. God bless.